Hi, I'm Jeanette from Growth Unlimited. In the past videos in this series, we have been talking about what you needed to do to define yourself in our new normal. And with this video, we're going to talk about steps of things that you can actually do to make those definitions that you've come up with in your thought process work. The first step to defining who you are is figuring out who you are. And we've talked a little bit about this already. Once you've figured out who you are and what you stand for and what you're willing to present to the world as your code, then the next thing you need to do is reflect on your old values as well as your new ones and compare them. Make sure that the values that you are presenting in the process of sharing who you are actually are the values that you stand for. Be willing to stand for them, follow through them, and live them. The next thing you need to do is stop focusing on the past you. Quit looking at what has happened in the past and start looking at what you can do to meet the goals and the values that you have set for yourself in your current presence. A lot of people that I work with spend a lot of time revisiting things that have worked for them in the past because it makes them feel good. And while that is not a bad thing in itself, especially if you're feeling a little insecure, revisiting it too much of the time and spending too much time resting on your laurels in the past stops you from moving forward and creating new pleasures and new benefits and new things that you want to have in your new existence. And so don't focus so much on the past. If you feel a little bit of need for reassurance from the past, you can look back and say, hey, I did that in the past, so let's see what I can do right now. Keep your focus where it belongs as you move forward. Step number 4, do not compare yourself to other people. Don't try to justify who you are based on what you perceive somebody else to be. The reason for that is most of the time you're probably inaccurate on what you're perceiving about somebody else. You don't live inside their skin. You can't know exactly what it is they're thinking or they are feeling. And the interesting thing is if you ask somebody if they felt a certain way or thought a certain way, they'd probably tell you no, quite the opposite. So don't let what you perceive somebody else is thinking or feeling control what you choose to do, especially if the impulse that you're getting to perform is something that goes against those values and beliefs that you hold dear for yourself. Step number 5, take responsibility for your life. When you make a decision, follow through with it and follow through with any ramifications or things that happen because of the decision that you made. If you've made the right decision, if it's something that you made based on the values and the beliefs that you have no problem standing for what you believe is right. The only time that you run into an issue is if for some reason you're trying to avoid conflict or a difficulty that may come up because somebody else doesn't agree with what you chose to do or believe. And if you don't stand up for what you believe, where are you? What do you have to stand for? Okay, number 6, focus on your own growth. Ignore what people say about you. Quite frankly, if you have made a decision to do something in terms of growing or getting better at something in your own life, it really doesn't matter what somebody else thinks. Even if they don't like the idea of what you have done, it's not their place to make that decision. They can't make choices for you just as you can't make choices for them. So if you feel strongly that what you are doing is the right thing for you, hold to your guns. Do it. Step number 7. In step number 7, express your individuality. Don't be afraid to be different. You are special. You are something different from anyone else, and the way you think, the way you feel has merit just because you are you. As you grow and become more confident about what makes you unique, you're going to find outlets that will help you validate those characteristics. At the very least, find platforms that you can freely express yourself in your individuality. And don't be afraid to be proud of who you are and what you stand for. If somebody else has a problem with it, that's their problem, not yours. Okay, step number 8. Accept your emotions without judging them. I have so many friends, and I see clients often who get really down on themselves because they're feeling uncertain, or they're feeling scared, or they're feeling sad. And they criticize themselves and put themselves down for having those feelings. Those feelings are natural. They're a great warning system to let you know that something is not quite the way it needs to be for you. And there's nothing wrong with having them. If you're judgmental and critical of yourself when those feelings come up, if you beat yourself up because you're feeling a way that you may think other people may find unpleasant, then you are really abusing yourself inappropriately. Whatever you feel is just a feeling. It is what you feel. It is what is going on. What you choose to do about that feeling is the thing that you have control of, because feelings just come up. They just happen. And so when you have a feeling, just be aware of it. Recognize, hey, I'm feeling sad, or hey, I'm feeling angry. What's this about? And then once you explore that a little bit, you're going to be able to decide the best thing that you can do that fits the lifestyle and the values that you have for yourself. Okay, step number 9 is decide who you are surrounding yourself with and determine whether the people that you have around you are the people that you want to have in your life. If you're working with somebody who is not supportive or who has a tendency to tear you down and make you feel badly about yourself, then maybe you need to take a look and decide whether that person is actually tearing you down and making you feel badly about yourself, or whether you yourself are making yourself feel badly because you don't like what that person is helping you see about yourself. Now, if it's you creating the problem, then the friendship is something worth hanging on to, as long as that person can be supportive and helpful in helping you move past that point. On the other hand, if somebody is constantly tearing you down or manipulating you or trying to get you to do things that are not good for you, that is a person that you need to terminate the relationship with, or at least make sure that boundaries are set that you can control so that you do not get sucked into that particular type of activity. So make a decision. Are the people in your life the people you want to have in your life? Are they supporting you as you move forward in where you want to go with your life? Are they helping you achieve your purpose? If they're not, take some time to decide whether that's where you want to be. Number 10, stand up for your values. Sometimes you're going to have a value or a belief that is important to you, but it's something that flies against what somebody else wants to do. If this occurs, make sure you stand up for your values. Because if you don't stand up for what you believe, and if you don't stand up for what you know is right, you don't stand up for who you are. And so make sure you stay loyal to yourself and you hold to the values that you hold dear. Step number 11, be confident in who you are. My mom used to say to me, fake it till you make it. And she was right, because many times when you're trying new things, you may not feel confident or secure about doing them. But if you know they're the right thing to do, if you keep doing it, you get better at it, and you feel more confident, and you feel more comfortable. Don't be afraid to do that. Go ahead and try out things that are new. As you achieve things in your life, as you try out the new things that are difficult to begin with, you're going to be able to handle difficult things next time they come up easier. And so Get involved. Don't shy away from things that are hard. Do them because they will help you grow. Number 12, accept change. Change is another thing that's really difficult for a lot of people. But change is an ongoing thing, and all of us are aware of that, especially this year. Things have changed drastically in the last 6 to 8 months. And these changes, as much as many of us don't want to see them happen, and as much as many of us have been sitting thinking, when will things get back to normal? Face it, folks, things are not ever going to be the way they were pre-COVID. There are going to be changes that have occurred that are going to stick, and they are going to be a part of our life for the next period of time. So what we need to do is make sure that when those changes occur and those changes are involved in our life, we embrace them and move forward with them. Remember, you're a dynamic individual. Dynamic people change on a regular basis. Change is inevitable, and it should be a welcome part for you as you gain new experiences in your life. Step number 13, get out and exercise. Now, physical exercise is an important part of it too, but the exercise we're talking about here is actually doing something to move forward with the changes you're looking at making in your life. If you don't engage in the process of exercising that change, you're never going to make it. And so involve yourself, get active, do something about what it is you're working with. Okay, step number 14, do what you'll say you'll do. You know, I used to work with kids who commonly complained that they didn't get any respect from anyone. And yet, many times they didn't get that respect because they hadn't earned it. All of us want to be respected and liked by other people. And one of the best ways to start getting that respect is to have people be able to believe what you say. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. Or if for some reason something stops you from being able to do it, make sure you communicate that fact with people and let them know when you're going to rectify the situation. But if you commit to something, make sure it gets done. And don't commit to things that you don't intend on not doing. Number 15, get out of your comfort zone. You know, change is something that's hard for everybody, and it's not something that's comfortable. In the theory of change, Prochaska and his partners studied the ability of people to change. And what they discovered is that there were stages of readiness to change. And until people reached a point where they were willing to step out of their comfort zone a little bit and look at something new that they might not be the most comfortable with doing, they were not ready to change. Change requires discomfort. As you get used to a new idea or a new way of doing something, it's not going to be easy at first. It takes time to make that happen. So embrace that process. Look ahead and get out of the process of the change, everything that you can get out of it. There are benefits on every level of change. Experience your life in all ways. The good, the bad, the bitter, the sweet, the dark, the light, the summer, the winter. Experience all the dualities. Don't be afraid of that experience, because the more experience you have, the more mature you become. That's a quote from a person named Osho that I thought was very, very outstanding. And step number 16, the final thing that you can do to take control of the change in your life, is enjoy life. Look at what's beneficial. Look at the good things that are happening in your life and celebrate them. There's always a good, just as there's always a bad. If you focus on the things that are good and move forward with those, you're going to have the kind of life you want to have with the changes that you want to make. You do all these things one step at a time. The journey to self-discovery is organic. Don't force it. Just let it happen and follow through, following these steps each step of the way, so things will naturally fall in place. Let me know how you're handling change. Share it in the comments below. Share with us the things that you are doing, the specific things that you are doing that are helping you change your life to create it the way you want it to be. I appreciate all of you, and I hope to see you again at the next video. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and share it with your friends. And if you want more ideas on how you can change your life so that you're having the control that you want post-COVID-19, then visit us at www.growthunlimited.org. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.